The night Alyssa discovered the unseen. Have you ever felt the hairs on the back of your neck stand up? The kind of feeling that makes your heart race and your breath quicken? Yes, that's where our story begins. Have you ever had that feeling that someone is watching you, hidden in the dark just out of sight? Alyssa did, and what she found that night changed everything. I used to think the scariest things were in my head, that the fear creeping up my spine at night was just paranoia. That was before I moved into my new house, before I heard the breathing in the bushes. It started as just another quiet night. My kids were asleep, and I was sitting on the deck, enjoying the crisp night air. The only sound was the occasional rustling of leaves and the distant hum of crickets. I had my phone in my hand, scrolling mindlessly until I heard it. Breathing. Slow, deliberate, coming from the bushes just beyond my fence. I told myself it was the wind, maybe even an animal. But then I saw my dog, Rocky. He was frozen, his fur bristled, his ears perked. He wasn't growling, he wasn't barking, just staring at the bushes. And that's when I realized the breathing wasn't coming closer, but it wasn't going away either. It was steady, deep, like someone was trying to stay hidden, but couldn't control their own breath. I felt a cold weight settle in my chest. My fingers were shaking as I reached for the flashlight beside me. Slowly, I clicked it on and aimed it toward the bushes. And that's when I saw it. A face, pale, almost sickly white, half hidden behind the thick leaves, the eyes wide open, unblinking, staring straight at me. My stomach dropped. My skin prickled with a primal fear I can't even explain. I opened my mouth to scream, but my voice caught in my throat. My body had locked up in terror. Then the face moved, just slightly, just enough for me to see the lips. They weren't pressed together, they weren't open. They were moving, shaping words, but no sound was coming out. That's when I snapped out of it. I bolted inside, slammed the door, locked it, locked every window. My hands fumbled with my phone as I called the police. My heart was pounding so hard I could barely hear myself think. 15 minutes, that's how long it took for them to get here. When they arrived, they searched the entire yard, the bushes, the fence line. Nothing. The officer turned to me, confused. "Are you sure you saw someone?" she asked. I nodded, my mouth dry, my pulse still racing. Then one of the officers shined her light into the bushes. Her brow furrowed. "Ma'am, these bushes are thick, too thick for someone to stand in. And look," she pointed to the ground beneath them. "There aren't any footprints, no broken branches, nothing." I shook my head, backing away from the window. No, that wasn't possible. I saw him. I saw the face, the eyes, the lips moving. And that night after the police left, I heard it again, the breathing, right outside my window. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for spine-chilling horror content. Please share with family and friends. The Haunting Under the Deck, a chilling true story. You ever get that feeling? Like someone's watching you. But when you turn around, there's nothing there? Travis and Charlotte thought they were just being paranoid. It started small things they could explain away. The backyard gate left open, even though Travis swore he latched it. Their dog, Bentley, barking at something in the dark, but when they checked, nothing was there. And footprints. Muddy, bare footprints leading up to the house. At first they thought it was just kids messing around. They were wrong, very wrong. One evening Charlotte was locking up when she saw it. Movement. A shadow moving beneath the deck, almost like it was alive. It was quick, almost too quick to notice. But she did. Her breath hitched, her body stiffened. Something or someone was under there, lurking in the darkness. She called for Travis. He grabbed a flashlight and a baseball bat, his heart hammering as he stepped outside. The night air felt heavier, charged with an unsettling energy. He took a breath and crouched low, the beam of his flashlight slicing through the gaps in the wooden planks. Nothing. Then just as he started to turn toward Charlotte, he saw it. 2 dirty bare feet underneath the deck. They vanished in an instant, crawling swiftly back into the darkness at the far end of the deck. Travis's stomach twisted. This wasn't just some raccoon or stray cat. It was human feet. Someone was living under their house, hiding in the shadows. They immediately called the cops, and when officers arrived, they searched beneath the deck. What they found made Travis's blood run cold. A nest of blankets, empty food wrappers, a backpack filled with clothes and something else. A journal, an old weathered journal. One of the officers flipped through it, his face growing pale with each page he turned. Then he read a passage out loud. I watch them at night. They don't know I'm there, seeing their every interactions. I like when she leaves the window open. It makes it easier. Charlotte choked back a sob. The window, their bedroom window, the one she always leaves open. The one she always leaves open for fresh air at night, never thinking it was a risk. The police searched the area, but found no one, no trace of the intruder. Whoever had been staying there was gone, vanished without a trace. But he had been there, watching, waiting, always lurking in the shadows. Travis and Charlotte packed their things and left the house within a week. Now at their new home, sometimes late at night, Travis swears he hears something outside, a rustling beneath their new home, a shadow that lingers a second too long. And once, just once, he found footprints in the mud, leading up to their bedroom window. Had the unwanted guest moved with them to their new home? Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for spine-chilling horror content, and watch more. Please share with family and friends. My Backyard Stalker, a Terrifying Tale. I remember the first time I noticed something strange in my backyard. It was a quiet evening, and the sun was just beginning to set. I was sitting on my porch, enjoying the cool breeze, when I saw a shadow move near the fence. At first I thought it was just my imagination, but then I saw it again, a dark figure lurking in the shadows, watching me. My heart started to race, and I felt a chill run down my spine. I knew something wasn't right, but I couldn't bring myself to move. I just sat there, frozen, staring at the spot where the figure had been. And then, just as quickly as it had appeared, it was gone. I tried to convince myself that it was nothing, just a trick of the light, but deep down, I knew that something was out there watching me. I lived alone in a small house with a big backyard, surrounded by thick trees. I loved the solitude, the quiet, the space, the feeling of being away from the world. But then I started noticing things, small things at first. The motion sensor lights would flick on in the middle of the night. A faint rustling near the fence, like something or someone was moving just beyond my sight. I told myself it was animals, a raccoon maybe, a stray cat, but deep down, something felt wrong. Then one night I woke up to a chilling sight. The room was eerily silent, the kind of silence that makes your skin crawl. Through the window, illuminated by the faint glow of the moon, stood a man. His figure was dark and menacing, casting a long shadow across the yard. Not moving, not hiding, just standing in my yard, staring directly at my bedroom window. His eyes seemed to pierce through the glass, locking onto mine with an unsettling intensity. My breath caught in my throat. I felt paralyzed, heart hammering so hard, I thought it would give me away. I could almost hear the blood rushing in my ears. The figure remained still, almost too still, as if he had been standing there for hours. It was as if time itself had frozen around him. I forced myself to move, to reach for my phone. My hands trembled uncontrollably, making it difficult to dial. I managed to dial the police, the moment I looked away just for a second. He was gone. The yard was empty, but the fear lingered, leaving me questioning if he had ever been there at all. The police came, checked my yard, the fence, the tree line. They meticulously combed through every inch, looking for any signs of disturbance. No footprints, no broken branches, nothing, just an eerie, unsettling silence that hung in the air. Probably a prank, the officers said. Or maybe an animal set off your lights. I wanted to believe that. I really did. But the feeling never left me. That suffocating sensation of being watched, of something lurking just beyond my reach, hiding in the shadows. It gnawed at me, a constant reminder that something was not right, that something was out there. I remember that night vividly. The air was thick with tension, and every creak of the floorboards sent shivers down my spine. I had been hearing strange noises for weeks, but tonight was different. I could feel it in my bones. Determined to prove to myself that it was nothing, I set up my phone on the windowsill, camera facing the backyard, and hit record before going to bed. The backyard, usually a place of comfort, had become a source of unease and mystery. The next morning I hesitated before checking the footage. My heart raced as I picked up the phone, dreading what I might find. The anxiety was almost palpable, a mix of fear and curiosity battling within me. The screen was normal for the first few hours. Just trees swaying in the wind, the occasional flash of the motion lights. It seemed like a typical night, the kind I had seen countless times before. But I knew something was different this time. Then, at exactly 3:12 a.m., the screen went black. For 5 full seconds. It was an eerie, unsettling darkness that seemed to stretch on forever. I could feel my pulse quicken as I watched. When the footage returned, the camera had been moved. It was no longer in its original position, and the shift was unmistakable. Someone or something had tampered with it, no longer facing the yard. It was turned towards my window. The realization sent a chill down my spine. The camera was now pointing directly at me, as if someone had been watching me. Someone had been inside my yard. The thought was terrifying. The once familiar and safe space now felt violated and dangerous. Someone had rearranged my phone. The evidence was clear, and it was undeniable. My sanctuary had been breached. Someone had been watching me while I slept. The realization was horrifying. I was never alone in my own home. The sense of security I once had was shattered. He had been watching me the whole time. I will never forget the terror of being stalked in my own home. As soon as daylight came, I packed all my things and left that same day. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more spine-chilling horror content from my own experiences. Share my story with your family and friends.